Alright, so welcome back to Driveway. Today we're just going to install a new stereo unit. It's basically something to get us rolling. Now I just broke that because I'm an idiot. But it's supposed to be like 4 little clips right up in here that we can get to popping here. Easier said than done. Let's get that guy out of the way first. Go. Like, we don't want to mess up the bezel too much, because we still need that part. Alright, there's enough just to weasel that out of the way. Let's see what we got. We got some bolt heads. Alright, for the most part, there really isn't anything drastically wrong with the current radio, but it is kind of old. We don't do tape decks these days. Kind of want the whole Bluetooth, USB play type of setup. So this thing's got to go, and we got something nice and interesting to shove in its place. Alright, so there's that. Not too shabby. Now, we should just be able to unbolt this guy. Now we should be able to just slide the head unit out, maybe? I don't see why not. Okay, and there it comes out. Ain't that something? So now, we need to figure out how we're mounting the other guy back in there. Because as we are now, it's just super empty clipped in there. Of course, this guy is our new stereo unit. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't have the same bolt holes. But we shall slide it in and see what lines up. Ooh, it might actually have something here. Well, I'll be darned. We need a little adjustment of this case box down here. Probably need to slice that top piece off because our bezel's a little high. But that's not bad. So I'm going to go quickly shave that off and we'll refit. Alright, got that bezel piece trimmed up a little bit. So let's see how it walks and loads on this thing. And there we go, that's locked and loaded. I wonder if that screw hole still works. It does not, so it's a different screw, but well, that's essentially that. So we'll have that plugged into there. That harness will all be jammed into there. More wires shoved back in there. And we'll have something like that. Won't that be fancy? All right. Well, that is definitely right where we're shooting. But before we do that, we need to run our RCA cable and our remote turn on for the amp that we'll have in the back, and get our other wires that we're going to have for our switches for our lights. So I'm going to run them up into the dash here real quick, then we'll see where we go from there. Alright, well, as you can see, we finished running all the wires. There's a whole bunch of wires I got running through the sill. We got the radio in here. It fits pretty decent. Unfortunately, you can see some of the edges because we couldn't leave the bezel surround from the stereo because it interfered with the stock one from the car. But we got that. We got this steel panel hooked up to some switches. And of course we got our USB charge. So I think we can just key it on. And this wire here goes to the GPS that's up top. So boom.
this third quarter. Foster.
Alright, let's turn that off there. So we got a whole bunch of different items. You can pull up Google Play Store. That's, of course, if we had internet out here. So currently we are no wireless. Because, well, we are out here in the garage, and that's quite a ways from the wireless in the car, or in the house. But, with the keys on, our lights switch on. So we got those, and those. So, we've got all of that hooked up, and we can get outside of the vehicle here and see what that's starting to look like. Alright, so one of the additions that we put on this thing, rock lights. So essentially these are LEDs. There's 3 LED pods on each side. Working pretty good over here too. So we got them. And then one of the other things that I wired up with the fog lights. See back here we got the rear backup lights. And of course, we got the front fog section lights. They're all wired up to go. And of course, these rear ones light up when we put it in reverse. Then these front ones just crank on with the other light switches. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. And if we turn on the standard headlights, you can barely tell exactly where that's at. Alright, so that's the fans running there in the background, but we'll just finish this off. This is kind of where we got our electronic section going. Got our main wire up to a circuit breaker that then goes to the rear. This is also where we're going to run the stereo through. Put our little caps on there. And then we got these big relays here. They're pretty massive relay. I believe they're supposed to be like 80 amp or something. But I just go for the much bigger one because online they're not that expensive. And they hold up a lot better than the super cheap ones. So, all in all, that's not too bad. We'll have to do a little bit of wire management after we make sure everything's working correctly, but so far, this is officially at a place that I'm pretty happy with. All that I really have left to do, I think, just to make ourselves a subwoofer box back here. So I've also run the wires for our windshield washer fluid bucket. The stereo did come with a backup camera. I've yet to decide if I want to actually use it or not. But we'll worry about that some other point in time. Got our RCAs and the amp turn on, so essentially I'm just going to have to measure out the space in between where we can put a box, and whatever we find will fit in there, will fit in there. So anyways, this was a lot of wiring. Took me quite a while to take care of, but got it done, got it run, and I think we're sitting pretty good. So anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching. Hopefully, we'll see you again later.